Good afternoon, America. It is Tuesday, July 15th, 6 p.m., 1800 for you military folks. I want to start off with a story, a true story of a guy that I used to work with. And he used to come to me a lot and complain about this, complain about that, people breaking the rules. I was a supervisor over on Madison Avenue. And we were good friends. I miss his friendship. I really miss his friendship. But he became a jerk. All right. We were working on Madison Avenue, and he was complaining to me about a lot of people abusing their duties on the job. They were hanging out in the office. They weren't patrolling. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, he came to me and pleaded with me to enforce them patrolling out on the street. So they would do their job. And I was like, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. And then I caught him doing the same thing, and I started enforcing it on him, and he didn't like it too much. And that's when our friendship began to dissolve. If you're going to hold someone accountable for something, you have to also hold yourself accountable for it as well. So he didn't like the fact that I was enforcing it on everybody, including him. So if they all got to do it, you got to do it too. Nah, man, I don't have. Come on, we're friends. No, man, we're not friends right now. And I think that's when he took the cue and decided that meant that we're not friends anymore. There's professional relationships, and then there's personal relationships, and I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect man. But I'm fair. I try to be. I try to be as fair as I can. Okay, so that was a little hypocritical that he would hold someone accountable for something that he was not willing to hold up his end of the bargain. I'll keep his name out of it because, it's none of your business. But the story is a very good parable. This is the latest news on the Epstein thing, okay? All the pundits, all the podcasters close to the White House and the FBI and the DOJ. Now they're starting to talk niceties, and they're starting to say, "Oh, Pam Bondi, she's so good. I got nothing against Pam Bondi. She seems like a really nice lady." Okay, to tell you the truth, I think she's in over her head a little bit on this thing. I think she should think before she speaks. I think she should do more when it comes to starting an investigation, a new investigation, a fresh, new, honest, independent investigation into this whole thing, because they have tons and tons and tons and tons of evidence. So last night and yesterday, all these people started coming out. Even Benny Johnson was starting to kind of shill a little bit for Dan Bongino, which I respect. I respect him because he gave Trump an ultimatum, and they made a deal behind closed doors, and he's back on the job. He's stuck by his guns, and hopefully there will be an new independent investigation on this crap. Okay? So, here's the latest. There's a lot of podcasts that came out and started saying, "Oh, let's move on." Ben Shapiro's doing it. He's sick of talking about it. I'm not sick of talking about it at all. Speaking as a former victim of sexual misconduct, I take it, like I said, I take it very personally. So, Matt Waltz. I'm not sure. The guy the first pick for DOJ, the head of the DOJ, but then there was a scandal with him and a teenager, and he had to step down. Blah 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 blah. Right, and then they put in Pam Bondi. All right. So there's an old. I should save that for last. So yesterday, the Democrats put a bill on the floor. They put a vote on the floor to release the files. Right? And the Dems moved to release it, and the Republicans blocked it, which is true. But from a reliable source, from actually Benny Johnson, Marjorie Taylor Greene said it was piggybacking. That bill to release Epstein's files was, let me give you an example. My salt shaker. This is the original vote to give the Dems House control of the floor. So what they did was, and the Republicans are never going to vote for that because they have the upper hand and they have the most votes. So that would be suicide. That's like taking a dive in boxing, right? The Epstein files, they put that on top of it, pork, right? Whatever's added to it that has nothing to do with the bill, which I think is illegal, they put it on there to piggyback it, and the Dems had to vote no because of this originally, not because of this, not because of the Epstein files, right? So of course, they voted no. But there was an interview with the Speaker of the House, John something, I forget his name. He's got glasses, looks very 1950s. Excuse me. But it was a procedural something or other for House control. For House control. They're not going to give up the House. So it made it look like they were voting against it, which they did, which is a very sneaky tactic by the Democrats. They did. But there is a lot of people, Republicans in the House, that want to release the footage. So that was the misunderstanding, according to Benny Johnson, quoting Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. It was all a big misunderstanding. And it doesn't close the door on the Epstein files at all. I'm sure another vote will come across the floor. And hopefully they will vote to release everything. Which, unfortunately, I believe they'll never release it. Unless the people stand up and vote these clowns out. You got to vote these rhinos, vote these liberals out. This fall, vote for Curtis Sliwa, by the way. Curtis Sliwa was, he back in the 1970s and 80s, he started a gang called the Guardian Angels. My brother, may he rest in peace, was a guardian angel. His name was William Rivera. He died in the mid-90s. I got to know him after not knowing him for a long time. But he was in the Army. He was a veteran. And now he's at home with the Lord. Very wise, knowledgeable man. And Curtis Sliwa started the Guardian Angels because there was a crime plague on New York City. And he started this gang to bring back safety, public safety, and quality of life back to the train stations, back to the streets, back to, mainly it was, we saw them when I was a little kid. I remember seeing them in the train stations a lot. So that's where my vote is. I endorse Curtis Lewa. I do. Okay, moving on. Why do I think it's never going to get passed? Why do I think... This is going back to the story with the guy that was complaining about people, holding people accountable, but he wasn't holding himself accountable when it came to him. Very hypocritical. I think there are too many people on our side that's on the list. There's too many people on our side that's on the list. And still, Jeffrey Epstein, from the grave, has more power now than he was when he was alive. He's like an evil Obi-Wan Kenobi. Strike me down, and I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. And it's coming to fruition. It's coming true. There's a lot of people on that list that are scumbags. All of them. But what's holding back the investigation, I think, is that too many people on our side are on that list and went to the island and touched little girls. This is nothing compared to what's going to happen on Judgment Day. On that great day, we're going to find out a new side to us all. All will be known. So the pundits are doing spin control. A lot of them are doing spin control. It's like, oh, she's a nice lady, Pam Bondi. Even her name is nice, Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi. Oh, by the way, Zorhan. Doesn't that sound like the perfect name for a villain? Zorhan. It's Zorhan. You know, it sounds like a villain from the movies. Anyway. The pundits are doing spin control, you know. You could see it. You could see it all over. Even Mark Dice did a little spin control himself. He was taking it easy on everybody. Not everybody, but you could tell he was dishing out some Mark Dice light. But anyway, because they want this to go away, they want this to, you know, be swept under the rug, and we the people are not having it. So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the theories I have. All right, Dan Bongino is back at the FBI headquarters. Him and Trump had some talks behind closed doors, and he gave Trump an ultimatum. And either she goes or I go. And they've decided to work together. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure if that means we're going to release everything, or we're just going to be honest with everybody and say we don't have everything. We never did. How could you not? What is Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's girlfriend, serving 20 years for? What is she serving 20 years for? I'm not sure. Could it be because she was his bottom girl? She would get the girls for Epstein, you know, honeypot them, you know, and bring them in. Hey, this is Prince Andrew. Why don't you go in that room over there, you know, and talk about the first thing that comes up, you know? So what is she serving 20 years for? And now she's willing to testify. For what? For what? You know, for what? To lighten her sentence. She wants to lighten her sentence. She wants to get off earlier. Maybe she'll serve 7 years. Who knows? And she'll get off just before she dies. Because she's up there. She's like 60-something. That's why she wants to testify. Because she wants a lighter sentence. Okay? It's not because she has righteous indignation. Righteous resolve. No. She wants something out of it. So, in the end times, they say it's going to be the world against Israel. The world against the Jews. And if you notice, a lot of the anti-Semitism is starting to fester, and it's starting to grow. And a lot of people say, including what's her name, Kelly something, Tucker Carlson, Kirk something. Sorry, had to look back at my notes. Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk are saying that Mossad might be involved. Well, Megyn Kelly is, and Tucker Carlson is. They all want the files out. They're talking about, and I'm telling you, the next live event Trump does, he might get some booze. He might. I hope he doesn't. I hope that they resolve this before Thursday. And they say, we're coming out with everything. Everything. Let the heavens fall, but the truth be told. Right? This is what I hope is happening. But this is how they're starting to, their hate is starting to fester, and it's starting to grow all over. There's been more Jew hatred now, more than ever. Now, I understand we have to bless the Jews, and Israel is the land that's the promised land, and we're Christians and we should support Israel, right? But when Israel's up to no good, we should call them out for it, right? We should, because there are innocent little kids, not just in this country. This is worldwide. This is a worldwide pedophilia ring. That someone knows something about it, and this is going to be the thing that shoots everything off. The start of the end, the beginning of the end. So, but you see a lot of anti-Semitic sentiment going around. Mind you, I do not hate the Jews. I love the Jews. The Jews were God's chosen people that brought the Messiah into the world so that a dirty sinner like me could get saved. Okay? But they're not perfect. They're not perfect. And they were God's people, yes. And they will be chosen again, according to Daniel. They will be chosen again. But right now, God's people are the Christians. God's people are the Christians. When God said, look at the stars in heaven, that's how many children you're going to have. I'm paraphrasing. That's how many children you're going to have. That was the spiritual representation of God's people. And then he said, look at the sand on the ground. As many grains of sand, that's how many children you're going to have. And that's the physical representation of God's people. Those are the Jews. The stars are the Christians. That's the spiritual, the celestial, right? And I'm not going against Israel. I do not want to go, I'll say it again, I am not going against Israel, but there are people in that government, namely Mossad, that were using Jeffrey Epstein for intelligence. So was the CIA, so was Interpol, so was all these. That's why I'm saying, I don't want to kill myself, okay? Just in case I pop up missing, okay? But I know God will protect me. And I pray God protects me. But I can't leave this alone. This hits too close to home for me. So you can see the anti-Semitism beginning to swell. And just in time, and I think by the time it hits its peak, it'll be Armageddon. It'll be everybody versus Israel. They'll win. Jesus will win. But it's going to be the world against them. Trump, another thing that's going around that Mr. Stupid, what is it? The ex guy. No, not Wolverine. Elon Musk. Elon Musk put out a stupid tweet that said the reason they're not releasing the Epstein files is because Trump is on it. Let me put that stupid lie to rest right now. Rock with me for a second. They threw everything at Trump. Everything. The Russian P tape, right? They accused him of being the second coming of Hitler. They accused him of being a racist. What else did they accuse him? They threw everything at him. They tried to even take his security, his Secret Service away, so when he got locked up, it would be a death sentence because he'll get killed in jail. He'll have no Secret Service. They tried to take the Secret Service away from him. They tried to destroy this man. They tried to say every lie under the sun. Do you really believe if they had Trump on the Epstein list? Oh, by the way, Trump was the first one to come forward against Epstein. Trump was the first one to work with the prosecutor and say, you can call me on Tuesday or Wednesday, and you can ask me whatever you want. I'll give you whatever you want. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, did he hang out with him? Yes, but when he found out what a pervert he was, he kicked him out. So do you think after all the impeachments, all the lies, they sit on a throne of lies. Do you think after all that, if they find, which a lot of them in the deep state, they found out that they found out that Trump was on the list for real and really did something, and they don't have to make stuff up and they can just really tell the truth? Do you really believe that he's on the list? They would have used that by now, because they used everything else. They even tried to kill him twice. Why wouldn't they use that if he's really on the list? If he's really on the list, do you think the Democrats would stop? Oh, no, wait, this is wrong. No, they wouldn't. That would be the first thing they use. If he was on the list, if he was on the flight log, oh my goodness. Are you serious? I'm surprised they didn't make that up. And they tried to do some doctoring with the documents or whatever. They didn't even do that, right? So Elon Musk says that he's on the flight list, or he's on the pedo list, right? Why, after everybody's talking about Trump is evil, Trump's the devil, blah blah blah, why isn't anyone talking about it? Why didn't they follow Elon Musk's lead when he said, "Oh, he's on the list"? Oh yeah, that's right, he is on the list. Barack Obama, yeah, that's right, he's on the list. Let me tell you, why didn't they stand up and support Elon? Why didn't they stand up and support Elon? Why? Because he's not. Because he's not on the list. Right? Wouldn't you use that? Wouldn't you use that? Oh, he's Putin's puppet. Prostitutes in Russia peed on him. Right? I'm surprised they didn't accuse him of murder. Anyway, they would have used it. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you agree. And please leave a comment below if you disagree. Be respectful. I'll block you. It's not hard, dude. It's not hard at all. Be respectful of each other and me. Leave a comment. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to buy my book, Holding the Line, A True Story of Survival in a Matter of Life and Death. I'm Alex Rivera. Thanks for watching. Good night.